The price of righteousness, the price of being an upstanding person, the temptation of it all. Just like it's very hard for a young man who is moving with his young friends who are into maybe stealing, and let's say they steal cars, and he's just there and they're just his friends. It's going to be very hard for him to keep up with his good character if that's what he started off with. So the price of righteousness, the price of being a good person, means you have to reject those companies. Okay, a young man, if he wants to do well and have a name for himself or just have a good life, he has to reject those bad company. That's the price he has to pay. Those friends may be cool, they may get all the girls, they may get all the attention, they may even have money. Especially as young people, usually you don't have money. So, but there's a price that we got to pay for being righteous. Even in a job, you may be in a company where, let's say you sell products and you can access the product. Maybe you can steal some products. But you know that in spite of the fact that the manager or the owner does not know, you choose not to take. That's the price you're paying. Your friends maybe they're taking whatever the product. That's a sugar. Sugar. I use sugar as an example because in Africa here, right now I'm in Uganda. My friends has got a grocery store, and sugar goes missing. But those who are unable, are able to stay away from taking packets of sugar, as an example, and they're paying that price. Their friends are enjoying the sugar, but it's stolen. So their character is tainted. So men understand that for them to be upstanding, they have to stay away from companies that will corrupt their nature. There's a passage in the Bible that says bad company corrupts good character. It's a given. It's not the other way around. You don't go into, I hang with thugs and say, I'm going to influence them. I'm going to go to a strip joint and I'm going to convert them. They're going to be saved. It don't work like that. You're going to be converted into that way of life. Now, this is a price a lot of men, because they understand that. A lot of good men. We know that there's men out there who are useless, good for nothing type of men who are just wasting time as far as with their lives. They're not doing anything substantial. They still, they have the right to do whatever they want to do. But there's a lot of people who are just talking. But when you got upstanding men, which is a good number of people, good amount of men, because a lot of men just want a good life, right? Not everybody's trying to be wealthy, bowler, whatever. But when you have a lot of good men doing that, okay? So you got a group of men choosing to be righteous, to be good. I go to work, righteous. I'm not stealing from my boss, okay? I turn up. Now, I'm going to translate that principle into women. When women are seeing other women act crazy, they don't abstain from that behavior. They're captivated by it. You see another girl twerking? Let a man talk bad about it. They're gonna be like, oh, who hurt you? You want to control women. You see what I'm saying? So what's happening is women are gravitating to that which is unrighteous, that which breaks the good nature of good character, that which is a stain on good character. They are attracted to that. So while men oftentimes be like, oh, you know what, I need to stop drinking, man. I got to work. I need to put in more hours. I need to stay away from bad company, because we understand our lives. It's on us. Nobody's coming to save us. Well, because women, they're more forgiving, and women can have bad character by mindset. She could be mean, but some man is going to marry her. Is going to take on dates, and she's still going to eat for free. She's going to be taken out, flued out. So the burden of righteousness is often not on women. They live for the thrill. They often live for the thrill of, oh wow, my girl's doing this. I'm gonna have a girls' night out, or we gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so women, they don't have to gravitate towards righteousness. Oftentimes it's when the union of the two, where the man says, honey, you're not gonna wear that. It's too short. What's wrong with that? But she understands that he's looking out for her. Then she taps into his desire for the wholesome woman that he sees in her. But oftentimes, the modern women, they see things like it's a controlling because they are tapping into this rebellious mentality. Anything that brings about this gravitating to what is good and wholesome is control, which tells you that there's a chaotic spirit going on out there. It's unrighteous. Because if the man know the price of righteousness, well, don't steal, don't do this, don't that, don't be drinking, don't be sleeping around. A lot of men are not sleeping around like that, like women have you believe. Yes, there's some men who just run through women, that's for sure. But a lot of men are not moving out like that. A lot of men are just doing day in, day out. Go to work, go home. Maybe they drink at the bar. But I can tell you that the majority of women who follow Beyonce's been around for a long time. Rihanna, they still follow her. Who else is that? Nicki Minaj, you know, Glorilla. These are not examples of righteousness, but women gravitate towards that. But not only do they watch it, because men have equivalent artists, right, who are not good, but men have no desire to mimic that behavior because it's not right. It's not going to serve me in my work. It's not going to serve me in my walk. It's not going to give me, and it's unrealistic for me to try and move like that. We've all had a friend who's trying to floss, and we know it's just a fake life. But women try to believe, I look just as good as her. I can have that lifestyle. I could twerk better than her. They're in competition. I could, the man says, don't wear a wig, she's still gonna wear it. Don't do this, she's still gonna do that. So women are gravitating towards that which is unrighteous and unwholesome, which creates this divide. Because the man's like looking at her, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be seen with that woman. She looks like a whore. And what do women say? He's insecure. Because the man's paying the price to live a certain way, a legacy, and a name for himself. In Africa, there's a thing. Okay, you know him. Oh yeah, we know him. He's got a little grocery store over there. Or there's that name and reputation associated with the individual. But do you know her? Yeah, we know her. Yeah, we know her. We know how she moves. So a lot of women are comfortable now moving in a very loose way, not knowing that there's a price of righteousness that they have to embrace, which brings about a good union, which brings about order.